introduce our guest today. The next two programs, October 21st, 10 o'clock, we're going to do a tour of the old Jacksonville Cemetery and talk about the people that are buried in there. If anybody's interested, we're going to meet there at the cemetery. That's behind the Village Green and behind Hotel Floyd, for those of you that don't know, so look for that. That's the 21st of October. And in November, on the 18th, Dr. Sheila L. Rodani is going to do a program on the German Brethren's participation in the Civil War in Southwest and Western Virginia, which should be fairly interesting and entertaining. That's also our annual meeting day. I want to thank you all here. I want to get out of the way, introduce Earl White, who is going to do a program on black perspectives in music, in the, I guess, basically the fiddling part of it. Old time fiddling. I have to note, he started out life as a clogger.
I did.
And moved on to music, I guess, as your knees started to go.
I got out early.
Yeah, well, most of us got out because we couldn't do it. But I want to welcome him and leave the floor to him. And Mr. White, it's all yours.
Thank you very much.
One thing before I do, and since I got you up there. Somebody's 94th birthday is today.
Oh! Wow.
Where's Nadine at? 94? Woo! Maybe we can do a little happy birthday to her before we go.
That would be fantastic. In fact, how about if we do that now? What's her name? Nadine? All right. How about a happy birthday for Nadine?
All right.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Nadine. Happy birthday to you. And I wish you many, many more.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, all right. Well, I want to thank all you folks for coming out. I know it's a little early in the morning. But I got up at 2:30 this morning, so it's not that early. It's late. My name is Earl White. You can call me Fiddlin' Earl White. I'll tell you a little story behind that. I had this friend of mine, Lightning Wells. And every time I saw him, he would say, "Phew! Phew!" So finally one day I walked up to him and said, "Lightning, why is it that every time you see me, you say, phew? I mean, do you smell something bad? And he said, no. F-E-W, Fiddlin' Earl White. That was quite a relief because I thought he was onto something. Oh my God. But anyway, as I thought about it, phew, it had an even deeper meaning beyond my initials, Fiddlin' Earl White. And that is because at one point in time in this country, there were many people of color, black people in particular, who played old-time string band music. And in this day and time, there are very few that are actually playing and perpetuating and actually living the music. And I'm one of them. And I plan to be 94 and beyond. So I plan to do it for way longer than I have been. Anyway, this presentation is a presentation that I put together a number of years ago, mostly from my history as a clogger and dancing at fiddlers conventions and at folk festivals. And again, what I saw, I talked to a lot of fiddlers, like the grandfather of old-time fiddling in this area, Tommy Jarrell. Anybody here for Tommy Jarrell? Yeah, old-time fiddler down around the Mount Airy area. And so had a lot of friends, a lot of people, and especially the old guys, because I had, as a dancer, I just had an affinity toward the fiddlers. Because when it comes to old-time music, they're the ones who carry the tune, and everybody else just kind of backs you up and compliments. So anyway, this presentation is a chronological depiction of some of the people who made a contribution to old-time music as we know it today. Some of the people who made a contribution to old-time music but had basically got little recognition. And one of the things the most important thing that I want to get or convey is that when it comes to old-time music, it's not a black music, it's not a white music, it's the music of the people. It's a community music. It's music that people in communities got together and played together all the time. And in my travels, I advocate that. I keep pushing that out there, because otherwise, how did one group of people learn from another group of people if they weren't playing together? I mean, there were no records. Today, you could just record it or buy the record and go home and listen to it. But back in those days, if you learned a tune on one side of the mountain, by the time you walked or rode your horse or your donkey to the other side of the mountain, the tune changed. Might have had the same name, but Joe would say, well, no, that's not the way that tune goes. Sally Ann doesn't go like that. So, without much further ado, this is an audio visual. Some of it I will be reading, but there's a lot of audio on there that I think you will enjoy. Okay? And with that, I'm going to fiddle that. Bring my computer over. Can everybody see the screen okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Did everybody hear that okay? This is the Earl White String Band playing. Okay, the purpose of this presentation is to bring to light many, but not all of the individuals who played a role in and influenced the shaping of the sounds of Appalachia. We will also deliver in our message the fact that old-time music and country music was always music, and music to be heard, and always music that was shared in both the black and the white communities. During the past 50 years, more than that now, we've seen and have been a part of the old-time music revival. Though its popularity has waxed and waned, I, in particular, had witnessed the biggest surge in the 1980s when Jimmy Carter was president. His daughter, Amy, was a clogger. And the Plank Road String Band and the Cub Hill Cloggers, and who was a spin-off of the Greengrass Cloggers, actually got to dance at the White House. Since the late 1700s and well into the 1800s to now, Black Americans have been playing old-time music in the Appalachians and beyond. From the Catskills in upstate New York, the Midwest, and the Deep South, Black American influences can be heard in every region. Though blacks had such an influential impact, due to circumstances of the times, segregation, discrimination, and prejudice, little has been documented as to who many of these people were. There were many instances of blacks and whites playing old-time music together, but if you were white, it was not customary to state that you had learned anything from a black person. Ever notice how there are countless pictures depicting blacks holding the banjo? Ever wonder why? Ever ask yourself, who is that person? I did. Again, as noted above, the repressions of the times are evident. I've composed a list of names and pictures of a few blacks, some known, most unknown, who actually made a difference. Much of the inspiration and development of old-time music and country music has been attributed by the genre's founders to the Black American musicians of the South. People like Jimmy Rogers and his youthful association with the Black Railroad section gangs, Hank Williams and the street singer Rufus Tito Payne. Both Bill Monroe and Merle Travis attribute much of their learning from Arnold Schultz. As it goes with the Carter family, they learned much of their music from the playing of Leslie Riddle of Burnsville, North Carolina. There are many more of which there is little or no mention, and countless pictures and nameless people of color bearing witness through their association with the instruments. These are predecessors to the banjo as we know it today. This one is called the kora, the one on the left. The one on the right is called an akanting. In Suriname, they call it the vania.
This song is about Gambia and Senegal, composed by my father.
Hey, anybody knows anything about four-hammer banjo? Watch the way he plugs that. He's playing the akanting here.
Greet each other, talk nicely to each other, and remember that we are one people, a collective personality, not different people. And it's called Gambia of Senegal.
12 Years a Slave. Anybody see that movie here? 12 Years a Slave? Well, I had the privilege when I lived in upstate New York, when the book was first written, the town of Saratoga, New York, started a festival they call Solomon Northrop Days. And my friend Frank Orsini called me up and said, "Earl, I've got a role for you." So I went over and played the role of Solomon Northrop when they first brought the book out, and to commemorate the beginning of their festival. But in Solomon Northrop's story, he was a free black man who farmed with his family in upstate New York. He was well known in the community as a fiddler. During the winter months, when farming was slow, he would travel and play dances to supplement his income. As the story goes, he was drugged and sold as a slave in Washington, D.C., and remained a slave until a group of black and white friends bought his freedom. Saratoga, New York has an annual festival in his honor. Sheikh Hamala Dabede, I did a show with him a couple years ago at the country store. We called it From Mali to Appalachia. He's from Mali, a little country in Africa. But if you get a chance, there's a great documentary that was done in 2005 where it basically depicted both Sheikh and myself as enslaved musicians. And what I learned from that, it was filmed in St. Mary's City in Maryland. And what I learned from that was that a lot of the slave musicians had more of an opportunity to escape the plantations because they were commodities that were hired to the next plantation to play music, to play dances, to play concerts. And so a lot of times in their travels between plantations, they again had more of an opportunity to escape. Well, in that effort to escape, a lot of the places that they found refuge was in the Appalachian Mountains, where a lot of the Native Americans, a lot of the Scotch, a lot of the Irish, and the German people who settled in the Appalachians basically invited and gave them refuge. And that within itself, again, when you take the mixing of the music and the dance, you know, we have this rich history all up and down the Appalachian Mountains that come from this group of people who, you know, basically nurtured and took care of each other. So this is Fiddler Nor White. I know I'm a little older now. And this is Sheikh on the other side. Now they flew him in from Mali, from Africa. Incredible musician, and he's also a banjo player. And they had that gourd banjo that he's playing. They had that made for the purpose of that documentary. So if you get a chance to watch it, it's, I think you can check it out in the library. You can maybe even stream it on PBS. It's a 4-part series, and Sheikh and I are basically in part 2 of that series. Joel Sweeney. Well, Joel Walker Sweeney, he's the person who's responsible for making the banjo a popular instrument within the white community. He's also the person who added a 5th string to the banjo. And basically, as you can see here, he was a popularizer of the banjo. And so he was born in 1810 in Buckingham, Virginia, was an American musician and early blackface minstrel performer. He is known for making the banjo playing popular and is credited for advancing the banjo to its present form. The replica of a gourd banjo. And in 1840, Joel Sweeney added the 5th string and is credited for making the instrument popular among white audiences. And again, you can kind of see that evolution, that accounting that was being played earlier, and that style of claw hammer banjo playing. And then how the banjo basically evolved from that more primitive form with 2 strings to where it now has went on to a tenor banjo, 4 strings, and on to the 5th string aspect of it.
The gentleman from Suriname, how many strings were on that?
Only 2.
Only 2, okay.
This is Cedric Watson, incredible accordion player, lives down in Louisiana, and he's playing a chord banjo. So just to give you an idea of what it sounds like and how it's basically played.
Oh, go dig a hole in the meadow. Go dig a hole in the ground. Go dig a hole in the meadow and let me lay darling Corey down. The last time I saw darling Corey at the edge of the deep blue sea, 44 around her and a banjo on her knee. Wake up, darling Corey. How can you sleep so sound? Revenue officers are coming. He's gonna burn your steel house down. Go away, darling Corey, and bring to me my gun. I ain't no man for trouble, but trouble has just begun. I ain't no man for trouble, but I'll die before I run. The last time I saw darling Corey had a 44 in her hand. I killed that revenue officer if he leaves here with my man. Across the deep blue ocean, across the deep blue sea, bring to me darling Corey, wherever she may be. Go away, darling Corey, quit your hanging around my bed. The whiskey done ruined my body, and pretty women gon' ruin my head.
So I guess the moral of that story is watch out for pretty women and liquor, right?